lovely Thursday, coming to you with some news. The first section it's interesting that you need to note, respect meso other diverse sensitivity. Again, it's a topic that I highlighted yesterday, and you have a little editorial on this. It says, it is imperative for India's larger polity to take full cognizance of the sheer diversity and complexity of the nation, instead of confusing the yearning for unity with national homogeneity. And RSS must take note of that, because it's not going to happen, not in a country like India. What we forget at the center, as he says, public memory in India does not register the Indian Air Force bombing parts of Mizoram in 1966. But public memory in Mizoram does with bitterness. And this is the disconnect that we have from the center. Another interesting item, monetization of idle land, railways, defense, BSNL in line. I would throw an out-of-box thought. Army is one of the best creators of infrastructure. Why not think of moving some of the cantonments out of, say, Leh, out of Mau, out of Pune, where they're absolutely sitting on invaluable land, and give them land for free somewhere in the lesser developed areas, and pump in the money and let them develop new cities and develop new cantonments. Important, however, this money that you get out of monetizing defense land must be used for defense procurement and to look after the defense personnel. Important. As I said earlier, we have to deepen our bond market, especially in terms of maturity and international trading, if you want to go up, get the money in for infrastructure. And for that, this is important to note, PM to meet global fund houses brass. Government also working with RBI to enter global bond indices, move expected to bring depth to domestic G-Sec market security. Very important. What good is the latest laws in agriculture when you have this? Onion imports norms relaxed till December 15. So either way, you are not giving, and no wonder the farmers are up and up, because this, you know this, that at the end of the day, these laws are designed to, again, while they're designed to benefit the farmer, but with laws like this, you end up hurting them when you keep changing everything. For India, what is critical at this stage is, to my mind, is the federal discord that's growing. So this is what it says. In India's governance scheme, both center and the state derive their authority from the constitution. But the equilibrium is shaken primarily because of BJP's growing unilateralism at the center and diminishing control over states. And this is showing itself up in many issues. It's like the Maharashtra government not allowing the CBI to investigate this nation TRP case. It's showing up in Punjab, in agricultural reform. And this new trend of a fracture in ties between the center and states ruled by the non-BJP formation is absolutely worrying. There's obviously good news as Ghar Pravesh for economic news. Ultratech strong shows cement. India hopes for a quick recovery. Let's hope so. Another interesting news, Chinese spy was tasked to get into info on the lies. Who's looking for a Kolkata aid? India needs to protect the lie now. I am quite sure that Chinese could do what Russia has been doing to most of its people who run away from Russia, basically poisoning them. Another one, Nepal media raw chief in Kathmandu for a day. Interesting. The head of India's external intelligence agency is said to have called on both Oli and PK Dal Prachnanda, the PM's rival in Nepal Communist Party. Efforts by China to stop the party's stalwarts from feuding have only led to an uneasy truce between them. It is absolutely critical for us. India now can't keep its hands off Nepal. There is a lot of issues in Nepal, and India, by having a hands-off approach is not work, hands-on approach is not work. So let's just bell the can and have a hands-on approach and try and get back into the game. More after the break.
Driving force of the nation, now driving Max Plus Logistics. Unparalleled discipline, exceptional work ethic and diligence combined with mental and physical agility to meet any challenges. Moving forward on the right path in the face of physical stress and adversity. Max Plus Logistics. Wait till the end for some more information. May the Max Force be with you.
Welcome friends back to the geopolitical section of Bobby Chandra. Here we go. First one. For now, India has no plans to launch trade talks with Taiwan, says Dipanjan Roy Chowdhury. Well, I guess this piece of news is from an unnamed source of the Ministry of External Affairs. Tells me that talks are in place, are underway, and what we need to know here is realizes that obviously this is India is managing this whole process in a series of escalations. You have the Quad, then you have Taiwan, and so on and so forth. But what is important to note is India can be a trailblazer here too, just like it did with was the first one to resist the BRI, has walked out of the RCEP, much to the indignation of China. But here, why it's critical to do a trade agreement with Taiwan is how they say, plug into Taiwan. New Delhi must pursue trade deal with Taipei, ignoring Beijing. Chinese Foreign Ministry has asked New Delhi to be prudent while dealing with Taipei and reiterating its so-called One China principle, which sees Taiwan as part of China. This is rich coming from Beijing. Then it says, Taiwan is a powerhouse in semiconductors that serve as the backbone of today's modern economies. Taiwan companies are well integrated into global supply chains, bringing high standards of production and logistics to the table. True, they do business with China, but while they do business with China, what they many times with Taiwanese companies now are looking to diversify their supply chain because of the US-China trade war. For India, what's critical? Taiwan's expertise in hardware and India's in software are a perfect fit. New Delhi shouldn't be averse to a free trade agreement with Taipei, as the latter is high up in the value chain. Taiwanese investment in technology can kickstart a tech manufacturing revolution in India. That is really, really critical. And China continues to behave like a bull in a China shop. Here he says a North Chinese diplomats trash Taiwanese National Day event in Fiji, a fist fight ensued. What uncouth behavior. I tell you, who do they think these Chinese are, right? Yeah. Another one. We should take note of. PLA soldiers find it difficult to adapt to high altitudes. Soldiers confused, completely disoriented due to hypothermia and cold. And this is what we learned from that one guy who strayed, one Chinese soldier, PLA soldier to that, who came into the Indian territory. That's what's happening there, folks. Why the two parts of the United States will continue to sleep in bed with China is the Hollywood and obviously the high financing. Here is an article, Disney's China problem. West elite covering up CCP's mistakes. Money makes the world go around, folks. And that's the case with all these guys in America too. Another one, by China threatens to detain Americans in retaliation. And what's it for? Chinese officials have told the Trump administration that security officers in China might detain American citizens if the Justice Department proceeds with prosecution of arrested scholars who are members of the Chinese military, American officials. Now, this is the case. What does America do? What does the rest of the world do? All these guys are spies. We all know it. With a gun to the head. And then you have this. Another article. China deserves a day in court. What does it say? Yet in COVID-19 has taken a tremendous human and economic toll worldwide. Lawsuits may become powerful instruments for changing China's behavior and can aid diplomatic and economic effort accomplish the same goal. Deterring China from future aberrant behavior requires holding it accountable for its COVID-19 related misconduct. India should also note that. And what does Gidon Rashman has to write? A distracted US is dangerous for Taiwan. It says the idea that a US election can be shaken up by an October surprise is well-worn staple of political commentary. Less discussed is the danger that if China takes advantage of political confusion in the US to make a move on Taiwan, international affairs could be convulsed by a November or December surprise. And what he says, wars between great powers, including the First and Second World Wars, have often broken out because governments have miscalculated each other's reactions. As the historian Margaret Macmillan puts it, what really becomes dangerous is when people begin to read the intentions of the other side and get them wrong. That could easily happen in Taiwan. Then what does it say, guys? Chinese hackers target military, NSA warns. Folks, trusting China is like catching a tiger by the tail. Can't do that, can't do that. Watch the following video, which is a sighting on Ranthambore by a friend of mine, more after the break.
रोड आ रही है रोड अरे पीछे लो पीछे लो पीछे लो पीछे लो पीछे
It's coming towards us. Guys, don't make noise, please.
पीछे ले ले अंदर पीछे ले उसको रास्ता दे पीछे ले जा अरे पीछे ले बोला kan पीछे ले यार अरे पीछे ले बोले बलराम पीछे ले
थकी हुई है भूख लग रही है इसको
Concluding section. Here's more geostrategic news. Pompeo aspire to visit Delhi next week for India-US 2+2 dialogue. It says, looking forward to my upcoming trip to India, Sri Lanka, Maldives and Indonesia for productive conversation with our friends and partners. Important to note, 3 nations. Maldives, Indonesia, Sri Lanka. These are part of India's reverse we cheat. Then you have Pompeo and aspire to visit. It says the US may be in throes of a turbulent election domestically, but it is business as usual between Washington and New Delhi on the geopolitical front. Just a week before election day, US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and Secretary of Defense Mike Esper will be in New Delhi for the 2+2. What's important to note here is on his part, Esper told a Washington think tank on Tuesday that India will be the most consequential partner for us in the Indo-Pacific for sure in the century. Important to note, fulcrum. India is the fulcrum. In our neighborhood, Pakistan in somewhat of trouble, as this report says. Sindh police chief's kidnapping by Pak forces deepens political crisis. It says Sharif had drawn new battle lines in the ongoing political turmoil when at an October 16 PDM rally in Gujranwala, he named the Army Chief General Kumar Javed Bajwa and ISI Chief Lieutenant General Fiaz Hamid as the selectors and main backers of the incompetent PM Imran Khan. First time a sitting chief and a sitting ISI, folks, and Pakistan seems to be absolutely on the wrong side, because here, look at what's happening for India. UAE and Israel agree on visa exemptions for their citizens. UAE India to strengthen cooperation in medical sector. These are both in the Khaleej times. What is important to note here is this is a trilateral. UAE, Israel, India. Agriculture, medical and technology. Future of this region. Turkey continues to be an outlier and obviously is going to be all kinds of trouble with the Arab world. Turkey accuses man of spying for United Arab Emirates. Arrest highlights growing divide between Middle Eastern rivals. Stay in technology and the armed forces. Lots of money being spent by the United Kingdom. India should be on it. Yesterday I said that India might join the Typhoon race. Here says UK in vital arms race from lab to battlefield. They're doing a lot of work in UK labs for this. Nuclear continues to hum. New nuclear missiles cost 95.8 billion Pentagon estimates. Nuclear is not going anywhere, folks. It's good that Manmohan Singh, that Vajpayee did the test and Manmohan Singh signed the agreement with the United States. Jai Hind.